children of the one Yahweh. Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given this law to us.
Alright, first and foremost, we're going to start off by saying, Call Allah Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai. That's all praise to the Most High God of Israel in the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We are the Hebrew Israelites of the SICARII San Francisco sect, out here preaching peace and prosperity to the 12 tribes of Israel, who are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. I got a lesson that's basically just talking about what's going on, man. What's going on in the world today right now, man. Right?
He been around for years.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm sure you heard everything.
Yeah, bro, you got any questions? Go ahead and say what you want to say, bro. But we're going.
How do you improve your gift with the Lord?
How do you improve your
Gift with the Lord.
your gift with the Lord? What do you mean by your gift with the Lord?
Gift was every time you read, you have to have something to think about.
You talking about like how do you improve your everyday life with the Lord? Give me that. How should a man? I got that. Yeah, cleanse his way. Give me that. How should a man cleanse his way? I got you right now. Give me Psalms 119 and 9. Because he said how are we supposed to pretty much improve our lives with the Lord, right? Or our gift, because that's really the gift that the Lord gave us is our life, man. Our life in the covenant that he made with us. Go ahead.
Here's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way, or any man, woman, and child at that matter, right? Where should you start for getting right with the Lord, basically, right? Go ahead.
By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
By taking heed according to thy word. And what's thy word? Thy word is the commandments, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. With my whole heart have I sought thee. Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments.
And that's the word of God right there, the commandments right there, man. The Lord, when you read, especially in the Old Testament, mainly thus saith the Lord is the commandments that the Lord is giving you. Come on, go to 16. Read to 16.
All the way. Come on, verse 11. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee.
So that's how as Black, Latinos, Native Americans, that's how we should be we should be walking after that. We should be trying to get right with the Lord by keeping his law in our heart and his commandments in our heart, because his commandments teach us how not to do wrong to each other, how to treat ourselves, to treat our body, to treat our communities, all that. Go ahead.
Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes.
He's asking the Lord to teach him his statutes, right? His law, statutes, and commandments, the way of the Lord, right? Go ahead.
With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches. I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways.
And this is how we get right with the Lord, right? This is actually going perfect into my lesson, so that's a good question that he asked, right? Keep that 28 and 58 up. Go ahead.
I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word.
So that's what we should be doing. Whenever we ask ourselves, okay, how are we going to get right with the Lord? It starts off by listening to him first. Because everybody gives the Lord lip service. Oh, I believe in God. I do whatever God say. But you look at how they live their lives, and you see it's completely opposite of how God wants us to live. It's completely opposite of how God, what the Most High God told us to do. So this is how we get right with the Lord. And that comes with what? Fearing him. A lot of people don't fear the Most High, right? Go ahead and get that. Do you got 16? You already read 16? Come on, go ahead and get that. Come on.
It's Isaiah 29 and 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me.
So a lot of people remove their heart from the Lord, right? But that's exactly what he's saying. Our people want to give him lip service, but in our hearts, we really don't care about him. Go ahead.
And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
Exactly. And it just said that the fear of the Lord is taught by the precept of men, right? Go ahead. You got that in the Deuteronomy? Yeah. Perfect.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book.
And this is the book of the curses that we always go to. This is the chapter of the curses, right? And what does it say?
That thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord
thy God.
That's 58. Let me see. Exactly, and that's actually a commandment. We're commanded to fear the Most High, man. We're commanded to fear Him, man. It's not no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're commanded to fear Him, and by fearing Him, you got to do what He says, right? That's how you know if you fear the Lord, and that's how you know you love the Lord, right? First John 5:3. Get that for me real quick, after you give me Isaiah. Let me see what I had him holding. Give me Isaiah 50:10. And you give me 1 John 5:3.
This is 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous.
That's the love of God, man. That's the love of the Most High. That's how you know if you really love God, if you keep His commandments, man. All 613 of them, man. If you keep them to the best of your abilities, not just giving lip service, but you're actually walking the walk that He wants you to walk in, and being strong in that walk, right? Give me that in Isaiah 50:10. Isaiah 1:21.
Isaiah 50 verse 10. Who is among you that feareth Yahweh?
Who is among, out of all this land, right? Who is among us that fears the Most High, man? Niyar, what's going on with sis over there? How you doing, sister? What y'all talking about? Can I talk with you for a little bit? Can I talk with you for a little bit, sister? We ain't gonna bite, I promise. I got a couple questions for you. How you doing? How's your day going so far? Huh? I said, how's your day going so far?
Just here.
You just here? Is it going so-so?
No, I cannot say if it's going so-so or not. I'm just here.
You just here? All right. What was you guys talking about?
I don't know. He just gave me this paper and he asked me what is my mother and father's ethnicity.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you the same thing. What do you claim to be? What's your mother and father, or what's your father's ethnicity? If I can ask you that.
My dad is Puerto Rican and so is my mom.
Both of your parents are Puerto Rican?
Yes.
We got an Afro-Latino right here.
But my mom, she has straight hair.
Oh, that's fine. The hair, the hair texture doesn't really matter.
What you're looking at my father.
Yeah, we're looking for your father, right? Give me that numbers, or you got the precept for it? Yeah, you can go ahead and give me that precept.
I mean that you're looking at my father because I look like my dad.
Oh, you look like your dad. Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's not a problem. You know why we're asking you what your ethnicity is by your father?
Yes, why?
Because your racial, what they call your racial background or your ethnicity, is determined by the seed of your father. So the fact that your dad is Puerto Rican, not saying that you don't get anything from your mom, but most of your genetics come from your father. The bone marrow, your DNA, even some of your gender comes from your father too. But your father being a so-called Puerto Rican would make you a Puerto Rican. Do you know about the history of the Taínos?
No, I haven't read up on that.
Okay, that's fine. Let me read you this real quick, because we're out here teaching the Bible for not for ethnicity, but for our people, and you would be considered our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Go ahead, read this real quick. This is out the Bible.
This is Ezra chapter 2 verse 59. And these were they which went up from Tel Melah, Tel Harsah, Cherub, Adon, and Immer. But they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel.
So this is talking about some Israelites, right, that didn't know necessarily the ethnicity or tribes that their fathers came from. So they couldn't prove to the other Israelites if they were Israelites or not, because they didn't know who their fathers were. So that's one way of proving that it goes by, your lineage goes by who your dad is. So all the way from the time of antiquity into now, even in science and even in the hospitals, like 95% of the time, if they're going to list you as a race, they're going to list it by your father's race, not by your father and mother. They're not going to put, if you're like black and white, they're not going to put black and white. They're going to put black, right? So with that being said, what's your knowledge, I would say religiously or so-called, about the Bible? Like, do you have any knowledge about the Bible or not?
I've read.
You said you read some?
Yes, I've read.
Well, have you ever been to church?
Yes.
What were you, a Christian, Catholic?
I wouldn't say I'm anything. I would
You're just spiritual or something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's actually, we actually prefer people to have that answer more than them saying they go to church and stuff, because you ever been to church? Have you ever felt like church was I don't know, have you ever felt that feeling of it wasn't necessarily the right place for you to be or something? Or that some things were made up in the church? You ever felt that way or uncomfortable at any point in time? Acts 7 and 38 and 48.
I'm not invited to so many churches, but it was only until I went to the Jehovah's Witnesses church that it made a person to feel like as if there's a lot more rules you have to follow.
Well, yeah, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they do follow actually some more commandments than other so-called religions. And I'll just tell you up here, we're not a religion. We don't subscribe to religion. We're not a part of Christianity or anything like that. We subscribe to being the true form of the etymological Christians, right? Which were actually Negro men at that time too, right? So Christianity and Catholicism, Islam, all that stuff is a man-made religion that has nothing to do with the Bible. None of that stuff has anything to do with the Bible. So we're out here teaching the truth about the Bible to our people, that the Bible is actually about the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we're actually God's chosen people. And the reason why we're in the situation of being in the ghettos and being the lowest and everywhere we go is because we don't listen to what God told us to do. The same thing that the church teaches our people is, oh, don't follow the commandments, don't read the Old Testament. They tell us that because they know if we don't follow the Bible and the words of God, we will always be the lowest point of society. We will always be dominated by every other race. That's why you can see when we're getting gunned down on the streets, or when we have black on black violence, brown on brown violence, all this and that, nobody else cares about it. Even our own people don't care, because we're stuck under a system of a curse right now, right? Let's go get into that real quick. So your people are the Puerto Ricans. Did you know the Puerto Ricans are in the Bible? Let me give you some stuff about the Puerto Ricans real quick. Give me that in Genesis 49 real quick. We're going to show you point for point all the stuff the church would never teach you. I don't know how much time you got, but I'll try to make it fast. And you say you have time? Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Go ahead and give me that when you get the chance.
This is Genesis 49 and 22.
So this is Genesis, the first book of the Bible, right? The first book of Moses, right? As you know, this has to do with the creation and so on and so forth. Go ahead.
I'll just read from verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Are you familiar with who Jacob is by any chance? Jacob or Israel? Yes. Okay, so Jacob, yeah, okay, so she says she's familiar with it. This was Jacob gathering his sons together, right? It was, he had 13, right? So he was gathering all 13 of his kids together, and he was gathering up to tell them a prophecy. You know what a prophecy is? Okay, so yeah, he was telling them a prophecy of what was going to, basically what life was going to be like for them later on in the future. Go ahead.
It's verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bow.
It says Joseph is a fruitful bow. Now this has to do with the one of his sons, which name is Ephraim, right? Joseph and but Joseph is made up of two tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh. So Ephraim is who we identify as the Puerto Ricans today, and we can prove that also. Manasseh is the who we identify as the Cubans today. So if you meet a lot of Cubans, a lot of times they'll say that they're from the tribe of Manasseh. A lot of them actually know that. Most people in South America know that they're the Israelites more than the people over here in North America. Go ahead.
Joseph is a fruitful bow.
I just said Joseph is a fruitful bow, talking about the Ephraimites and the Cubans, right? So you know what it means to be fruitful? Yeah, so it means they produce a lot. Do Puerto Rican women have a lot of children? Are they one of the most fruitful women on the earth? The Puerto Rican women and Mexican women are one of the most fertile women in the earth. They can get pregnant like that, and that's just one of the blessings that you guys got, right? Go ahead.
Even a fruitful bow by a well whose branches run over the wall.
A fruitful bow by the well whose branches run over the wall, right? Go ahead. Yeah. Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's more. That's what that was going into. It's more Puerto Ricans over here than it is in Puerto Rico. and that's for a reason. That's because as well as the Negroes going into slavery, you guys were enslaved just like us. You guys actually were enslaved before the Negroes. You guys was one of the first people that Columbus actually came to. Go ahead. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, the Portuguese, Slovakia, my bad.
It says the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him.
And that's talking about the history of when they came over to you, to enslave you guys, right? Because I remember Columbus actually even said he saw you guys as women. He said that you guys had the most beautiful women that he's ever seen. He and kind of like how they did the Native Americans, right? They came to you guys with open arms, pretty much trying to be deceitful. And then as soon as they got you guys to feel like you guys were comfortable enough, they slaughtered you guys and then put you guys in chains and put you on slave ships. You got something? Kind of. Let's see. And on top of that, you guys actually, we know that the Puerto Ricans are the Ephraimites of the Bible because you guys had prayed to a deity named Yahya. Do you know what Yahya is? It's short for Yahweh. So you ever heard of Jehovah? Jehovah is what is that, Yiddish? It's a modern Yiddish way of saying Yahweh, because the you know the who they call the Jews in Israel today, right? Those white people. Do you believe those people are the real Jews? Shit. Oh yeah, and it's the most Hebrew artifacts over there too. But she said that's all praises. She said she don't believe in any of that. So you don't believe those people are the Jews? Okay, all praise to the Most High. You're absolutely correct. Those white people in Israel today aren't the Jews, because if the Jews had got exiled, right, and they left out black, how'd they come back white? How'd that happen? Now we have all these people, right? These so-called white people who are the same European people that are over here, over in our land. That's our land, and they took that land by conquering us, basically, right? You got what? You had a precept? Come on.
This is Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
And that's talking about when the Europeans came over to our people. Their words were so smooth like butter, right? This whole Bible is talking about the history of our people. That's why they don't teach us our history in school, and that's why the Bible is not allowed in school. Because if they really wanted to teach us our history, it would teach us to hate the people that conquered us, not for us to love these people, not that we're equal to these people. Because how can you enslave a nation of people for more than 500 years, which has been longer than that? How can you enslave a nation of people for more than 500 years? Then for the last 40 years that we've been around these people with this whole civil rights movement and all that, all of a sudden we're all good, we're friends. But right before the civil rights movement, we were getting lynched together. So how can we be equal? How can we be cool with these people? Yeah, even after, we still getting lynched now. Trayvon Martin situation, the brother that just got hung up in the South. How are they telling us that we're equal or that God loves everybody, but we're seeing every day that God is punishing certain people, and he's put certain people on this earth to deal with us a certain way, right? And the same thing I told my friend. There's no coincidence. Nobody can say that this world is a coincidence. There's no coincidence that every single kingdom that you look at in history has had Negro and Latino slaves in it. It's low battery? Yeah. Somebody give him a charger. There's no coincidence to that. It has to be some form of divine intervention. If every single captivity and kingdom that there has been, we have been slaves in. That's not a coincidence, right? Do you have any questions before I continue? Okay, go ahead. Let's see what else we can go. Go ahead, finish it up.
All right, it says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn out swords.
Exactly, right? And that's exactly what the Europeans did to not even just the blacks, because we focus so much on it being about only black people. They did it to the Latino people. They did it to the blacks, and they did it to the Native Americans, right? And just like and today, what would they consider you because of your skin tone? They'll call you a black woman, right? But you're a Latino woman, and more importantly than that, you're an Ephraimite from the Northern Kingdom, from the nation of Israel. That's what you are. You're an Israelite. Give me that in Psalms 93. We are the gods of this earth. We're the actual Elohims, right? Yeah, she's a princess on earth. Come on. get that real quick. And you can give me Deuteronomy so I can show you these curses. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, you get the Psalms in that we are gods. Psalms 83, Slock. Give me Deuteronomy. I'm gonna show you using this Bible, the Old Testament they don't want you to read, that we are the people of this book. Give me verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Do you know who was talking right there? That was Moses, right? So you heard the story of Moses and the Israelites and them leaving out of Egypt as slaves. That's the key thing people always look over. Key word: if we were equal, how, or if God made all of us equal, how is it that since the beginning of time there was somebody being enslaved? The Israelites are in slavery right there, right? So there's no equality right there. It's no equality, right? It just said, well, Moses just said, because Moses was the one that was dealing with the Most High God exclusively, right? So he told the rest of the congregation, the rest of the Israelites, what God was pretty much saying. God said, if you keep the commandments, if you Israelites keep the commandments and you listen to everything I tell you, you keep the laws, which is more than 10 commandments, there's 613, then I will put you on high above every nation upon the earth. You'll have everything you want. You'll have all the riches. You'll have all the land. You'll never have to worry about anything. You won't have to worry about getting killed going up and down the street. None of that, right? That's if we listen, or if the Israelites listen to the commandments, right? So from verse 1 all the way to 15, or 14, it tells you all the blessings we would receive. Let me see one of the blessings real quick. Read two real quick.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it says it's going to overtake you, meaning no matter what you do, you can't stop these blessings. Them blessings are going to flow in. Just like how our people always say, oh, I'm so blessed and stuff like that. These are the real blessings. Being able to have your own sovereignty in your own land, being able to rule the world, basically, that's a blessing right there. Not have to worry about somebody getting killed or your family member being drugged out, or like, that's a blessing, right? Go to verse 15.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it just said, in verse 15, 13 verses later from verse 2. Now on the flip side, if you don't listen to the Most High is going to send all these curses upon you. And the from 15 to 68, all the curses list out going into slavery, losing your children, having sicknesses, right? Like the same sicknesses we be going through now, heart disease, cancer, all these things. Those are all curses that God put on the land, because we weren't dealing with that type of stuff back then. The only reason we're dealing with cancer, heart disease, heart failure, all these medical conditions is because, one, we choose to eat the stuff God told us not to do. On top of that, it just goes basically down to us not listening to him. You got anything to say? Okay. Read 41. We're going to list out a couple curses, and you tell me if this fits the Black, Latinos, and Native Americans today. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 41. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
So, you know about the history of slavery, right? I can already see you shaking your head in agreement. They'll put us up on the auction block. They'll set us up with our children, and somebody, a European man or whoever was buying us, would put a price on all the people that's on the auction block, and they would separate us from our families. They'll separate the man from the kids, and they'll separate the mother from the kids as well. Why? So we couldn't build that bond with each other. So it says you're going to have kids, and you're not even going to get to enjoy them. Why?
Why are you not going to get to enjoy them?
For they shall go into captivity.
Because your kids are going to go into slavery too. They're going to go into slavery away from you. And we can still see that happening today with CPS custody with the Latinos, or even when fathers get their kids taken away from them, their mothers get their kids taken away from them. Yeah, verse 32. We see that happening even today, not even just slavery. We see that happening today. CPS custody. People that came and enslaved your people and killed and slaughtered all the people of this land for the most part, came over here and put rules and laws on this land that they didn't even own. They came over here, took over this land, killed the people that was originally keeping this land, and then have the nerve to put laws on this land and have the nerve to take your kids away from you. Have the nerve to take your kids away from you, and you can't do anything about it. Go ahead.
This Deuteronomy 28:46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So it's just said these curses are going to be upon you for a sign and for a wonder. Now we know that signs are used as what do you call it? When you look at a sign, or you get a sign from like people say, I got a sign from God and stuff like that. It's almost like a hint, basically. You're getting a little bit of a foreshadow or a hint. These curses is how we know, like it said, we are these Israelites, and it says it's going to be upon our kids. So no matter how many kids you have, from generation to generation, these curses going to pass down to them. That's why when we raise our kids up, we have to teach them, hey son, don't do this, because if you do this, the cops might hurt you. The cops might kill you. Don't do this, because if you do this, you might get killed because somebody think you're gang banging. Don't do this, because that's all part of being a curse. Because we have to teach not only our children and ourselves how to live and move throughout this life to avoid getting hurt by other nations of people, but we have to teach them how to avoid getting hurt by their own people. Give me 54. As well as we gotta teach our kids, hey, don't move like this because you don't want the police to harass you. You don't want white people looking at you this type of way. We gotta teach them how to act correct because of reasons like this. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
It just said the man that's tender and delicate among you, his eye is going to be evil toward his brother. All right, as Black and Latino people, we always like to say, okay, why is our community so messed up? If God's real, why is he letting all this stuff happen, right? Why are these little black boys and Latino boys killing each other every time they're on the street and having gang violence with each other? And it's all because of what this Bible is saying. It just said, the man that's tender among you, his eye is going to be evil toward his brother. That's why you can't walk up and down the street without another black person mugging you. They'll go right past a white person, hey, how you doing, Frank? But as soon as they see another black person or another Latino person, as soon as they see another black or Latino person, is what you looking at, nigga? You got a problem? That's the same thing just last week. We're out here teaching. A brother pulls up and threatens to pull a gun on us, and we didn't even say anything to him. That's what that's talking about. So our people's asking these questions, what's going on with the world? Why is our communities like this? We have to read the Bible. It tells us why. Because we don't love each other. And what love is keeping the commandments of God. That's how you love each other. Go ahead.
Finish that off.
From the top or?
No. Go.
And toward the wife? And toward the wife of his bosom.
And even toward the wife of his bosom, you're going to have an evil eye. That's why we have domestic violence problems too, right? On both sides. Because it's not just the man's fault. It's both parties' fault. Go ahead.
And towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
So many broken and fatherless homes. That's not even just because of us, but also because the European man set up a system to where he put our own women against us. He put our women against us, making us, and then in result, we go against our own women. Then what happened? You got fatherless homes, motherless homes, right? That's why we have so many problems with our fathers leaving our children. It's because that's what's going on. You got a precept? Go ahead.
Joshua 1:8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
And that, it just said it's going. This book of the law, this Bible, right? These 613 laws should never depart from us. It should never do that, because once we do that, that's how we get in the system of where we are today. I can go up to any black person and ask them, where are you from? What race are you? They'll say I'm black. They won't say I'm an Israelite, because they don't. This book of the law departed from them. I can ask them. I can go up to any function or any place, any black and Latino where it's mainly black or Latinos at, and try to talk to them about anything about the Bible. They'll be like, man, I don't want to hear that, because in their hearts they're already sold. It already departed from them. That's why we don't know how to treat each other. That's why we're killing each other. That's why we're selling dope to each other for $50, killing our own brothers, selling dope to each other. That's why we having sex with each other's women. It's madness because we don't love each other. We don't love God. That's why we're in this situation. Go ahead.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
So if we keep these laws, it's reiterated all throughout the Bible. If we kept the laws, we would never have to worry about this. We would never have to worry about this. Go, what you got? Something else? Yeah, go ahead.
God, this is Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
And that's what exactly what happened. That's why we can say, oh, I'm black, I'm Mexican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm all this and that, except for what we really are. So when people ask you what you are, you should be telling them I'm an Ephraimite. I'm from the tribe of Ephraim, because that's what God wants you to say. And God's real name is not God, it's not Jehovah, it's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh. His name is to be respected and feared. And go to 58. Yeah, go to 58. Because some people think it doesn't matter what the name of God is. It's a commandment to know his name. Because it says you're going to call on God, right? Yeah, kind. If you're going to call on God, how you going to call him? How you going to call on somebody who you don't know his name? Go ahead.
God. It says, thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So yeah, he just said, I'm going to cause you to serve your enemies. God, like Yahweh just told us, I'm going to bring people over to you. And we know this is talking about the European, because a couple verses earlier it says a nation that's as swift as an eagle. What's the symbol for all the European nations? An eagle. No matter you go to Germany, Spain, the United States, it's an eagle. That's no coincidence, right? And it says a tongue that we shall not understand. These people are going to come to us with a language that we don't understand. When they came to the Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, when they came to the Mexicans didn't know what they were saying. The Puerto Ricans didn't know what they were saying, because the Puerto Ricans, you guys weren't speaking Spanish. You guys were speaking a dialect of Hebrew. And that's the same exact language that the people in the Bible were speaking, Hebrew. So how do we know that you guys are the Israelites? Because it's too many, it's too many artifacts, it's too many so-called coincidences, and it's too much history that lines up with the Bible. Give me 68, let's get to the point. Then I'm gonna just ask her about some laws. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So you just said that you knew about the story of Moses and the Israelites. They walked out of Egypt, right? They crossed the Red Sea walking out. Read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So from where they walked, right? They didn't need to take a ship over there. So what is this talking about? It said the Lord's going to bring you into Egypt again with ships. You got the precept? Come. Let's see what Egypt he's talking about.
This is Exodus 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
It says, I am the Lord thy God that brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Hey, somebody roll him out of here. Somebody roll him out of here. So it just said that the word Egypt is synonymous with bondage right there. That's what Egypt means. It means slavery, right? Khan. Yeah, go ahead and give me that. Give this to her. Give that to her and tell her, look on the back of that dollar bill. Go ahead.
Come on, this is Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
So it just said, this is the land that's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? Isn't San Francisco like one of the new Sodom and Gomorrahs? Because they allowed nothing but homosexuality, and we already know that what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord burned it with fire. That's been scientifically proven just this year. They found fire and brimstone and sulfur. They found sulfur out where Sodom and Gomorrah was originally at. So we know this Bible is accurate. We know it's real. Let me see. Because, yeah, it said it rained sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah, so they found sulfur. Go ahead and go back to that.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord shall bring you into slavery again with ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
You're not going to see the original land of Egypt anymore again. So I'm going to bring you into slavery again on ships, and you're not going to see the original land of Egypt no more. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And that word buy just means redeem. And we know that Christ is called the what? The Redeemer. Exactly, right? So he just said, I'm going to bring you into slavery on ships, and nobody's going to redeem you out of it. Who does that sound like? Who? You said, huh? My bad, I couldn't hear you. You said the Lord?
Yes.
No, I'm saying who, but what people does that sound like? I need to hear her say it though. You said wait for it? Yeah, what people does that sound like? That went into slavery on ships and nobody helped them out of it? It sound like our people, right? And I like that you said our, not just black people. Because it's not just black people. The Latinos, I need everybody to hear this. The Latinos went into slavery on ships first. So all this, it's all about black people. You guys are black Hebrew Israelites. We are the Israelites. We are black and brown people united up here, man. All shapes and colors up here, man. So that's exactly what that's talking about. It's talking about us. So how can they say that this Bible is not about us? The Chinese men didn't go into slavery on ships. The Arab men didn't go into slavery on ships. The white man didn't. Well, they actually did. They drove the slave ships. So it's talking about us. This Bible is not talking about any European people or anything like that. It's talking about us. But they're in this book. Let's go to some of the commandments.
Because you want to know why it's talking about us, is it because in those tribes that you mentioned, that is our people.
Exactly. That's our people to a T. Go. You said okay, kind. You know, let me. We're gonna get a couple commandments for you real quick, right? So, that's Exodus 20, right? Yep. Give me Exodus 20. Are you familiar with some of the commandments? Huh? Yeah, he got it. You can go. You can stand Exodus 22. Now, the commandments, as we just read, we have to keep them because it will make our life prosperous. From the smallest commandment all the way to the greatest commandment. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna have you get. The least to greatest. Yeah, and Matthew, you got that? That's what I'm about to. Give me you already know what it is?
No, I forget it. It's a 16.
I think so. 1 minute, sis, my bad. Hey, you know that least to greatest commandment?
Matthew 5 and 19.
5 and 19, huh? Okay, so read this real quick. We're gonna read the words of Christ to you real quick, right? Because our people have been indoctrinated, right? So some of the things that we think are good for us are not good for us. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want to break it down to you so you can understand. You got that? Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19.
This is Christ.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
So all these pastors are these Christian Catholic pastors, all these people that are pastors of these religions, they're going to be called the least in the kingdom of heaven because they're teaching our people that the opposite of what God wants us to do. So that's coming out of Christ's words. That's not me saying that, right? You finished it off?
But whosoever shall do and teach them this,
whosoever shall do the words of the Lord, the commandments, and teach the commandments, what?
The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
The same is going to be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And I'm going to let you know right now, the kingdom of heaven is not going to be when you die and you go to some place in the sky. It's not going to be nowhere in the clouds. It's going to be right here on earth. That's what the Bible says. It doesn't say we're going to go, when you die, you go to some place on the ground called hell, or you go up into the sky and be with God. It says that this is hell. Hell is on earth. Because the fact that you got to see your brothers and sisters doped out on the street, prostituting each other on the street, us killing each other, that's hell. The fact that you got to hide out and be afraid whenever you go outside that somebody's gonna do something to you, that's hell. Like that's more plain and simple of being held than going underground and somebody stabbing you with a pitchfork and fire. Yeah, reading the NLT.
This is Matthew chapter 5 verse 19 in the New Living Translation. So if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, but anyone who obeys God's laws and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
So you want to be those people that are called great. You want to be those people that are high up, that are in the highest point in society. Because just like how we have now in society where there's hierarchies, it's going to be the same thing in our kingdom. Except our people, even if you're in a low part of society, you're not going to be going through hell. You'll still be keeping the commandments. You'll still be living a good life. You're just not going to be called the greatest. You want to be a part of those people that are called the greatest. Especially, you want to be one of the Proverbs 31 women, the women that the Lord loves. Because just like the Lord loves his men that does his work, it's women in this Bible that they don't tell you about that the Lord has had favor on because of how righteous they were. And our women, without our women being the women is like the backbone of our nation. So a lot of people think this Bible is misogynist, but it's not. It gives praise to our women as well. The women is our backbone of our society, because if you don't have a strong foundation as far as your women in your society, the men crumble. The men crumble because it causes all types of wickedness. Go ahead. Yeah, I wanted to get to one commandment. The reason I brought that out. Read this.
This is Exodus 20 verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Give me Deuteronomy 28, the wooden stone. A couple after that.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So that right there, even that goes into two things, right? Us not serving idols, basically, right? You know what an idol is? And then that's one point it has on. The second point is it says that to the third and fourth generation he's going to visit your children, which means that there's a such thing called regeneration. So when we die, what people call reincarnate, you don't turn into an animal or anything like that. When we die, 3 to 4 generations down the line, we come back through our father's lineage. So if let me see how to put it. During slavery, we all lived during slavery, basically, and now we're back here again, trying to get it right again. That's what we're doing right now. Everybody has died before, and they're trying to get it right now. Some of us aren't going to get it right, though, and you want to be one of those people that are going to get it right. But on the topic of the idol, you about to bring another one up? Go ahead, read that.
This is Habakkuk 2 and 19. It says, woe unto him that said to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise. It shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it.
So what does that sound like? It says, to the dumb wood and the dumb stone, and that wood is laid over with gold and silver. What does that sound like?
Sounds like when you have idols, and you bow down to them, that you praise them. They don't have no substance that they can help you.
That's exactly what it's talking about. Give me that in Judges 10 and 14. That's exactly what it's talking about. But it says that this wood is covered with gold and silver. What do people wear around their neck now these days?
You wear gold.
You got one around your neck, but it's not gold and silver. Our people put on crosses, right?
Yes.
That's the wood that it's talking about. In that same book, Deuteronomy, that we were talking about, with the curses, it said that we were going to become get that first. In Deuteronomy, it said that our people, it was talking about us going into following Christianity, because that cross, they say that Jesus died on that, right? Christ died on something more like an X. That cross symbolizes a Roman tradition called the Talmud, basically. Talmud, yeah, Nimrod, right? Yeah. That's Babylonian then, Babylonian. Anyway, the Romans still, whatever. Anyway, yeah, that goes back to basically the Talmud, which is a Babylonian tradition, I guess. But white people don't got no culture, so they steal anything. So whatever. Let me see. 36, yeah, get that.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Yeah, and that happened exactly with that happened with the Taínos, that happened with the Aztecs. When the Spaniards and the Portuguese came over to you guys, they brought these things, right? They brought Christianity to you guys. They brought this fake white Jesus to you guys, and they made you guys bow down to it and start serving it, or you guys would get killed. Now, some of you guys actually fought and died for that. You guys fought and died to not serve their gods, which you were supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do, is fight to the death and not follow into the wickedness of these heathens. But some of you guys didn't do that, and that's why so many of us are into that tradition now. So what you have around your neck was what that scripture that he brought out was talking about. Our people get these crosses, whether they be of gold and silver, whether they be of wood, and our people rock these things in their idols. So that around your neck, sister, that's an idol. That's a sin to be wearing that. And we used to wear rosaries up here too, right? We used to wear rosaries. We used to wear crosses. But as soon as we found out we couldn't wear those things anymore, we threw them away. Same thing when people wear these Buddha pieces and all this and that. We can't wear those things. So this, you have to get rid of that at some point. I would very much love if you get rid of it now. I don't know how important it is to you, but it's like you said, read that in Judges 10 and 14. Read that. This is how God feels about that cross. This is Judges chapter 10, verse 14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. A lot of our people choose because, you know, I don't know if they'll be like, oh, my grandma gave me this or something like that. A lot of our people choose this over the morality of following God, because they're like, oh, I'm so comfortable with this. This has been in my tradition for so long. But this is how God feels about it. Go ahead.
Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation.
So he's saying, he's like, these idols, these gods that you guys want to serve, that aren't me, go ahead and cry to them when death and destruction comes upon you, when sickness or illness comes upon you, when tribulation comes upon you. So we have to get rid of these things. That at some point, that rosary, you gotta get rid of it, because that goes actually into Catholicism too. And you said you're not Catholic, or you don't consider yourself to be Christian. I used to wear it just because I thought it was fashion. I'm not sure what's that thing that they be doing with the ash in Catholicism? Don't they have a connection to do with that? Oh yeah, that's praying to the Mother Mary or something like that, right? Yeah. That's all idolatry worship. But that all has to do with worshiping Mother Mary and stuff like that. None of that's in the Bible. Yeah, and the Pope brought that. The Pope brought that to our people. None of that stuff is in the Bible, so we have to get rid of these things. What you got?
This is Wisdom of Solomon 13 and 16. It says, he is careful to keep it from falling because he knows it is only an idol and needs help.
Acts 5 and 13.
It cannot help itself. But he is not ashamed to pray to this lifeless thing about his marriage, his children, and his possessions.
And that's what people do. They pray to these lifeless things. They care about these, oh, don't drop my cross. Don't. You ever, you know, the Hindu people? They have that elephant god, right? I seen a Hindu person.
His name is Ganesha.
Ganesha. Hey, whatever his name is. I seen a Hindu person. It was a picture. He was carrying that his little god, right? His idol. He was carrying it through some water in a flood. If that's your God, why can't he save himself? Why do you have to save your God? You see what I'm saying? If that's your God, why do you have to save him from a flood? Like, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It is weak, but he prays to it for help.
It's weak, but it can't even save itself. But he's praying to it. They pray to this thing, right? Go ahead.
It is dead, but he prays to it for life. It has no experience, but he prays to it for help.
It's all made up. That's something that, because the same way that the Most High God, this book in this Bible is for the Israelites,
The Hindu people, with all of that came to them because of the Aryans.
You said because of the Aryans?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not too sure on the history of that. I just know
I've been reading up on a lot, and that's
the history of it.
Yes, because of the Aryans, and also because of the people that you mentioned, the Europeans.
The Europeans, Well, the Europeans are a part of the. I mean, you know, the Aryan nation is a part of them.
They
Yeah.
took that because they studied the native
Okay, yeah. So that history, yeah, that might be true. That might be true because like it says in the Bible that the Europeans spread their wickedness all throughout the earth, not even just to us, but to all the heathens. And what I was getting at is the God of this Bible is the God of the Israelites exclusively. He created everybody and created everything, but he's only our God, only the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But he gave everybody else their own gods. He gave them their own idols. They're not real gods, but he gave that to them for them to worship. So whether they're worshiping a rock, like the Islamic people, when they bow down to that rock, God gave it to them because it don't mean nothing. That elephant, it doesn't mean nothing.
Right.
Buddha is oxymoronic. How is this thing going to teach me about life and death, and this thing doesn't even care about its own like? It's just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Go ahead and get that.
This is 1 Samuel 5:2. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early in the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow again, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord.
It just shows how useless these idols are. Like, go ahead. Yeah, it just shows like they're useless. They're pointless. Especially for our people, right? Our people want to become Buddhist. They want to become they want to become Muslim. They want to join in being a Hindu or all this and that, right? Christianity, Catholicism. But Christ said the true word of God, right? When the true word of God is out in the earth and everybody hears it, that's when the end will come. We didn't have Christianity and Catholicism and all that for the last 500 years. The end hasn't come yet. It hasn't come, and it hasn't helped us It hasn't helped us at all. We were taught Christianity, Catholicism during slavery, and what has it got us? Still getting shot out here by the same people, white people. Still getting lynched. It didn't teach us nothing. Go ahead.
This is Psalms 96:4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens.
Exactly. So the Lord created everything. So that's just one thing I wanted to touch on as far as a commandment, right? The idols, the crosses, we got to get rid of those. We got to toss them out. Like I said, I don't know when you plan on it. I would prefer you do it now, but yeah, like we got to get rid of that because we don't want to be in sin to our God. And the thing that we have to do as a people, we have to stop catering to ourselves and our own emotions and start catering to God's emotions, because it's a lot of things up here that we used to love doing. There's a lot of things a lot of us up here used to love doing that was wicked. But once we realize, okay, if I don't do this, and this is how serious it is, if I don't do this, eventually God is going to destroy me. That's literally how simple it is. Because as much as they tell us, right, God is all forgiving, he's loving. If you don't listen to God, he's like a parent. If I'm not going to keep telling you something, eventually I'm going to whip your ass. That's how God is. And that's really how he is. It's scriptures about him saying, talk to people crazy, right? Talk to them with stammering lips means talk to them and mock them. That's how you know the Most High and the black man and the Latino man, we think like him. Because when we talk to somebody, if they don't start getting it, all right, bro, I'm going to start making fun of you. I'm going to have to start drilling this into your head. That's how God is. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 5:4. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm has happened unto me?
Don't say, I've sinned and nothing happened to me. Yeah, God probably let it go. Go ahead.
For the Lord is long-suffering, he will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
Don't be without fear to keep sinning. Don't be like, oh man, I can keep doing this. God's not going, he'll give me some time. He's not going to give you time. He's going to let that add up until he's finally just like, okay, I'm going to explode on you. Go ahead.
And say not, his mercy is great.
And don't say his mercy is great. Go ahead.
He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners.
His indignation rested. Give me Psalms 5:5. Let's see how God feels about sinners. Because they say in the church, he hates the sin, not the sinner, right?
Make no tearing to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Long story short, that's telling you don't get too comfortable. Don't play with God. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Even with that, don't get too comfortable with that. Because as much as we're talking to you, he's watching. And this is how it works. I'm talking to you, but I'm not really talking to you. This is the Most High talking to you. He uses people as vessels to talk to you. We think that it's this magical Harry Potter book, this magical Harry Potter game. The Most High, this is how the Most High works. The same way that he can, if he wanted to, he can strike lightning down to kill you. He can send somebody to kill you. He can send somebody to hurt you. He can send somebody to talk to you. He can send somebody to heal you. The Most High sends angels to do his bidding for him. He doesn't even have to lift a finger. He just tells his angels what to do, and they deliver out the judgments from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. Go ahead.
This is Luke 1:70, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Exactly. So that just said it right there. Since the time of so-called Adam and Eve, the Lord was speaking through men. He had men saying what he wanted to say. So the same way I'm saying same things to you right now, like I'm saying, I'm not saying I'm God or anything like that. I'm saying the Most High. This is not my own words. If it doesn't come out the book, if it doesn't come out this Bible, that's when you should be like, okay, he's not speaking the words of God. But if it comes out this Bible, I'm telling you what God is telling me to tell you, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 5, verse 5. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
He what?
Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
It just said the Most High hates sinners. He hates people that sin. That's a terrifying thing to that's a terrifying thing to hear from God, that he hates you if you're a sinner. He'll spit you out if you're a sinner, right? He would rather you be warm or cold, right? And then being lukewarm. Go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly.
And every time you sin, even us up here, even though we're keeping the laws of God and we're doing what he says now, that don't mean that he forgave us for what we did in the past. So with this whole thing of repenting and coming to the Lord, it's a daily walk. You have to, it's not something you just do every other day. This is something we have to do every day. We have to live like this because we don't know if he forgave us for anything we did in the past. We don't know if he forgave us for smoking weed in the past. We don't know if he forgave us for leaving our wives in the past or anything like that. We don't know. Same thing is a story in the Bible, in the book of Judges, about a woman who committed adultery on her husband. Her husband forgave her and brought her back in, right? You know what the Lord did? He didn't forgive her. He had some men. He sent some evil angels on some men to go rape her. And then after she got raped, those men, the whole nation went to war with that tribe that those men came from. Because what he was trying to do was he was trying to pretty much kill all the sinners on both sides of the nation, on the people that from the people that raped her and from the tribes that were being wicked as well. So he was pretty much getting rid of all the nations. He divided. That's how smart he is. He devised out a plan to have something happen to one person that affected the whole nation, just so his will could be done. That's how the Most High works. Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 28:9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination.
Even his prayer is going to be an abomination. Last, I'll probably get to one more point for the sake of time. Another commandment. Do you eat anything like shellfish or pork or anything?
I haven't pork yet.
You have? Are you still eating it?
Somewhat, if I can.
Give me that in Leviticus. You said if you can?
Yes, if I can, because I don't really eat a lot.
You don't eat a lot of it?
I actually eat more chicken than I ever eat any other meat.
More chicken than that's good. You should be eating things like that because the chicken is clean. The chicken is clean.
I really don't eat a lot of meat at all.
You know why our people suffer from, Black and Latino people suffer from heart disease and cancer that much? It's because, here's the thing with pork. Pork, the pigs don't sweat. And pork is one of the most dirtiest animals on earth. That's why during slavery, they didn't give us regular food. They gave us pig intestines. They gave us the scraps from the pig feet, chitlins, chicharrones, all these things, right? That we could decide to be a delicacy. They, and now with seafood, crab, lobster, catfish, shrimp and stuff like that, crawdads, crawfish, These things are all bottom feeders. They gave us bottom feeders to what they consider us to be the bottom people. So they gave us the lowest of the earth, and almost as an insult, because we're the lowest of the earth to them, right? They gave us to this as a delicacy. And you know what it does to your body? When you eat a pig, this is why our people suffer from heart disease and cancer and stuff like that. It's because how cancer comes about is it comes from an overproduction of mucus. When you eat a pig, pigs don't sweat. They have the most diseases and toxins in them. They even have parasites in them. Pigs, when you eat them, what it does to your body once you digest it, it puts an over amount of mucus in your body. So once that over amount of mucus pretty much spreads to the rest of your body, what mucus does is it holds disease. So if you get sick or you get a cold, that's why you start getting a runny nose, right? Or you start coughing up phlegm, because you have too much mucus in you. So it holds disease. Once that disease starts spreading and mutating, it turns into cancer cells. Then on top of that disease spreads to your heart. Now you have heart disease. Now you have heart failure. Now you have cardiac arrest. Now you have diabetes. Now you have high blood pressure. It's because of the things we eat. It's funny how you give me Deuteronomy 28 real quick, and get that in Leviticus. Read that in Leviticus while I get that real quick.
This is Leviticus 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. This is verse 7. It says, And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
So the same way they tell us you are what you eat, when we're eating pig, what a pig eats anything. It's the earth's garbage disposal. So when they tell you you are what you eat, it's completely right. Pigs will eat dead bodies. They eat their own babies if they die. I've seen videos of a man in Africa, right? He was dead. They threw his dead body in a pig swamp, and they ate him. They ate him all the way up. Ate the bones and everything. They're the human garbage. There are garbage disposals on Earth. So when you're eating that, you might be eating a dead body. When you're eating catfish and all this and that, you might be eating dead body. You're eating feces and all types of stuff. Hold that. Read this. Or actually, no. Go ahead. Read that.
And this is verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
This is what you can eat. That's as far as seafood. So pigs and stuff like that, you can't eat that stuff, right? Go ahead.
Whatsoever had fins and scales in the waters.
If it has both, key word, both fins and scales, not one or the other. They have to have both. If it has fins and scales, you can eat it.
In the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins nor scales in the seas,
squid, octopus, the calamari rings, catfish, shrimp, prawns, all that.
And in the rivers of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
And that should be an abomination. You should see that and get sick. When I go around, and even if I eat pig by accident now, I get nauseous. I almost throw up now because my body I've been like 3-4 years clean off of eating pig now. If I even get the smell of it, I get nauseous. That's what he means by it should be an abomination to you. There was people in the Bible that rather died than eat pig. They were trying to force them to eat it. They were like, eat this pig, because they knew that we weren't supposed to be doing that. They died instead. They was like, man, I'd rather just die. You can just go ahead and let me die. You can kill me. You can kill me. That's how we're supposed to be, because the Lord will reward you for those actions. As much as we think it's the end, it's not the end. It's not the end. Go ahead. 59 and 60. And you give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. We're going to wrap it up.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed.
So he said, if you don't keep my commandments, I'm gonna make your plagues wonderful. I'm gonna make them unbearable to you. Go ahead.
Even great plagues and of long continuance.
And long continuance. These plagues, as long as you guys don't listen to me, this is gonna happen forever. Go ahead.
And sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Verse 60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt which thou was afraid of.
So he said, I'm going to bring upon you all the diseases of Egypt, which you were afraid of, right? What's that? Go to 61 too.
And they shall cleave unto thee. Verse 61, also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law.
Because you can't find cancer in the Bible. You can't find HIV in the Bible. You can't find heart disease in the Bible. You can't find those things. So he said, even the things that aren't written in here, it's still going to be in here. So cancer, even though it's not written in there, it's still in there. Right?
Them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Until you die. Until you die. That's what he's saying, right? Go ahead.
This is Numbers 15 and 38.
You see what these are? I'm about to wrap it up for you, sister, unless you got some questions. You see what these are we're wearing? Or even these, right? Because if I took these off, I could still wear these. This was our people's custom. The Puerto Ricans, the Aztecs, we all wore these. These are called fringes and zizis. We're supposed to wear this as a commandment to God so we know who we are. Go ahead.
It says, speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the border a ribbon of blue.
A ribbon of blue. That's why we have this blue ribbon going across our fringes, right? Because this was a commandment that the Lord gave us. When you look at any of the, if you go on Google and look up any historical pictures of the Taino Indians, of the ancient Aztecs, of the Native Americans here in America, I even just posted a video. We always wore these fringes of blue. And that's how you know we're the Israelites, man. We kept our customs. Go ahead.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them.
That's what it's supposed to be for. When you're about to eat that pork, or you about to do something you're not supposed to do, when you're about to eat that pork, when you're about to smoke or whatever you do, you look at these fringes, you're like, man, I can't do that. The Lord gonna punish me. The Lord gonna punish me if I do that. The Lord don't want me doing that. I'm an Israelite. I'm supposed to be holy, which means separate. I'm supposed to be separate from the rest of the world and what they doing. Go ahead.
And that ye seek not after your own heart.
And don't go after your own heart.
And your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring.
After which you used to go a-whoring. Why is he saying you used to go a-whoring? Because we was committing spiritual fornication against the Lord, right? That's what a whore does, right? She commits adultery. She commits a fornication. Whenever we don't listen to the Lord, and what we call today, we cheat on God. That's what we're doing. We're committing adultery against God whenever we don't listen to Him. Go ahead.
That ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God.
And be holy unto your possessive, your God. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. This is the last one. No, that's all.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
This is our whole duty. This is why we're out here trying to teach our people, because we don't want to see our people like this no more. We don't it kills me every time we come over here and I see these brothers over here dealing dope. They been hearing us the last 2 years, man. They don't give a damn. That's why we said some of our people aren't going to get it. Some of our people going to die in their sins. Some of our people are content with being in hell. We're trying to get to heaven. We're trying to see all Black, Latino, and Native American ruling on top of the earth. We're trying to see our people ruling. We've been in this hellhole, in this slavery under these people who don't give a damn about us, these people that beat us for years, for centuries. So when is it going to be time for us to start caring about ourselves? That's the real question we need to have, right? Anybody got anything else? You got any questions? Thank you for listening too.
Education go first.
You said, huh?
Education.
Yeah, it's educational, man. This is the real education. School, that's basic knowledge. That's the basic knowledge of our people. This is what we need to be teaching our people from the time they come out the womb. That's actually what the Bible says. We're supposed to, from the time our kids are able to understand, we're supposed to be passing this knowledge down from generation to generation. Go ahead. What you got? Go ahead.
Last precept.
This is Baruch 4, verse 1 and 2. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Everybody that keeps the laws of God, you're going to come to life. You're going to get that blessing. But if you don't, it's a wrap for you. Go ahead.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take heed of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof,
that thou mayest be illuminated.
And I'm gonna end it off on saying it's key for our people. End it off on Romans 13 and 10. That's really going. I'm really gonna end it off on that for real. Because our people have to understand that this clock and this time of America is coming to an end. This place is going to be bombed. It's going to be bombed with nuclear missiles, and it says that in the Bible, in the book of Joel. I'm not going to go to it because I want to save time for the next speaker. But that's what salvation is about. Getting saved from this place being burnt with nuclear fire, and getting saved from dying alongside with our enemies. Because the Lord told us who our enemies were. These so-called these Chinese people, these Arabs, all these people who aren't Israelites, these European people, all these people enslaved us. You can look at all the history. These people enslaved us. They have their hand in our oppression. So they're gonna get repaid back the same way we got repaid for not listening to God. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 13, verse 10. Love worketh.
No, it is 11. I mean,
this is Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
That's from way back then. Now our salvation is actually nearer than what we believe. Because we see all these prophecies coming. We see them talking about getting ready to bomb America. You don't want to be a part of that, sis. You want to be a part of those people that get beamed up in what they call those UFOs, because that's what the government is trying to hide from us. Those UFOs is the vehicles of the Lord, the angels of the Lord. They're called the chariots in the Bible. That's why when you hear the Negro spiritual swing low, sweet chariot coming forth to take me home, what is that talking about? Swing low, sweet chariot, come forth and bring me home. The Negro slaves was talking about the UFOs coming and picking them up and taking them away from captivity. That's the history. This is our point of being out here teaching our people. You say you didn't have any questions. I thank you for your time, sister, honestly. And with that, I'd like to say, call Allah, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and Shalom.